This video is to discuss the procedures for taking an exam in this course. The first and most important thing you need to know is all exams or tests in this course are proctored. That means you will have to come to campus to take an exam. When you come to campus, be sure to bring a legal picture ID such as your driver's license, a passport, or your student ID, or you will not be allowed to take the exam. When you come to take the exam on campus, you want to make sure that you're well prepared. So the first thing I'm going to do is teach you how to prepare for the exam, and then we'll discuss about the actual rules and procedures of the exam. You have been working through the assignments throughout the semester to prepare yourself for an exam. If it's a typical test, the sections on the test will be whatever was before the test. So for instance, from the beginning of the class, whatever sections I've covered up to test 1 will be test 1 material. From test 1, any material that I cover between test 1 and test 2 will be on test 2. It is not cumulative unless there is a final exam in the course. So test 2 is only on the material covered between test 1 and test 2. When you've completed all the sections before a test, the first thing you want to do is go into a practice test. The practice test will tell you how many questions are actually on the exam itself. The practice test is actually an identical copy of your exam that you'll be taking. The difference is the problems regenerate and come up with different numbers and can be worded a little bit differently. So, this is a practice exam with 40 questions. That means my exam will have 40 questions. I typically have about 2 hours, 3 hours tops, to finish these exams. This practice test is by far your best bet to study for the exams. You can take this as many times as you want, and it doesn't affect your grade in any way, shape, or form. So make sure you come in to take these tests as often as you can. The practice test, you can come and save it for later and submit the test whenever you want to see how your score is. You don't need to do every problem. You can do as many problems as you want. Exit out, get back in, exit out, get back in. It's a practice exam, it's for your benefit. Make sure you work through this exam as much as you can. If there's a question you don't want to do, just put in a random answer and skip to the next one. Let's say I've already answered that one. Get to the questions that you have questions on, but pay very particular attention to the questions, because remember, these questions are nearly identical to what's going to be on your exact exam. Once you're done, you can always submit the test, and you can review how you did, going into each individual question, seeing how it is. If you notice, there are going to be some assistance when you get back from the practice test after you've already submitted it. Now I can do the help me solve this, the view an example, and see how it is. So, if I'm stuck on this question or don't know how to do it, I can use these resources right here. If that doesn't make me comfortable enough, remember, you could always go back in and review your quizzes after you've taken a quiz. You can even go back into the study plans and redo the problems there. So you have plenty of ways to practice for the exam. First and foremost, the practice test. While you're taking the practice test, I want you to pay particular note as to what notes or what little things you could write down that would help you. Because during the exam, you are allowed one 3" by 5" note card. You must write directly onto this card. It must be a 3" by 5" note card. You can't cut anything out at that size. It has to be an actual note card. Nothing can be taped to it or glued to it. But you can take whatever notes you want and put it on that 3" by 5" note card. So do the practice exam. When you want to write something down, a little something to help you on the exam, feel free to write that on that note card. So now you're ready to take the exam. The first thing that you're going to notice is that the exams are password protected. When you go to the proctoring center, they will enter the password for you, and you will be able to take the exam. So when you go to the proctoring center, you're going to be asked to log into MyMathLab and click on this test. They will enter the password and you complete the exam. So what types of things are allowed or not allowed? First, you have to take the exam at the testing center. unless it's extreme circumstances. And then you have to contact me at least 2 weeks prior to the exam, and we can find another proctor at another location for you to take the exam. You only get one attempt at the exam, there's never a makeup, and you can never take it late, so make sure you take it on time. Of course, you're going to want to bring your scientific calculator to the exam, because the problems in my math lab often require a scientific calculator. You're allowed that one 3" by 5" note card, so make sure you spend time collecting that card, creating that card. The exam is in room ICB2, building ICB2, room 6. ICB2 is going to be on the northeast corner of campus. In fact, it's the most northeast building. You'll see a sign on it, looks something like this. Walk around until you see room 6, and then you can walk in. Exams are first come, first serve in this room, so if there's no room for you, you have to wait until someone finishes their exam before you're able to enter. These exams are only offered Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Friday from 9 to 4:30 p.m. You have to come at least an hour before the closing of the building. I would recommend at least 3 hours before to ensure you have time to finish the exam. You cannot reserve a spot. It is first come, first serve. But in case of emergency, if you need to get a hold of them, here's their email and their contact center right there. I cannot express to you the importance, once again, of their operating hours. You have to plan ahead of time and know that they are not open during the weekend. You must come during the week. And on Friday, the hours are shorter. It closes at 5 p.m., not 8 p.m. If you have any questions on the exams, what you're allowed to bring, or how to do it, please email me immediately. But to summarize, you get one attempt at the exam. It must be proctored. You must come to school. You should bring a pencil. They will provide blank paper for you for scrap work. You can bring a calculator, a non-graphing scientific calculator, and you are allowed one 3" by 5" note card with notes on both sides, nothing taped, nothing glued to it, to complete your exam. After you've completed your exam, it's vital that you go back through after the due date and review your exam. You may deserve partial credit for an answer that you put in, and my math lab may have graded you improperly. Email me your name, the class you're in, the test number, the problem numbers. I will review them and give you credit where it is deemed necessary. If you have any questions, please let me know, and best of luck on your exams.